The San Diego Prep Insiders Basketball Podcast is powered by Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Hey, sports fans. Happy holidays. It is March. It is madness. Christian Pedersen, Aaron Bergen, and we are talking about boys basketball finals, Division II, baby. This one, the semifinals alone were epic. Yes. So how are we going to top this in the finals? We got Francis Parker. We got Christian.
Private versus private.
Private versus private, but two very different brands of basketball, two very different trajectories of programs in terms of the last couple years and how they've gotten to where they are. And not going to say they were going to take an hour and a half, but we could take an hour and a half to really nitpick at this one. Yeah. So, Aaron, may I start on this one? Because I've thrown you under the bus and forced you to give your opinion first a couple times. So I'm going to say this. Christian's going to win this game. Mm-hmm. Christian's going to win this game in very, very dramatic fashion. I think they're going to need to do it in come-from-behind fashion.
Okay.
I think that Francis Parker is that real flashy, modern new car. Got all sorts of nice bells and whistles. Christian is that really reliable Honda Accord that you'll drive it for 500,000 miles and it will not be any different than the day you bought it. So I think that Parker has explosive pieces that will come out and throw the first punch, but then by the end, Christian, Jackson Larson, Nashom Carter, Christian West, they will just keep grinding away. They will just keep grinding away. And then probably about midway through the fourth quarter, you'd be like, oh, Christian's ahead for good. And they pull away with the championship. I think that this is a really interesting battle of the bigs and battle of the point guards. So you can find any which way to break it down. I say, though, that the battle of the bigs is where this is really decided. Because offensive rebounding is one of my biggest things in all of basketball, that if you can do that, you can win any game. So that's where I see the size just playing out a little bit in Christian's favor, so that eventually Nashom Carter gets the ball back, makes things happen.
Okay. I'm agreeing. I'm picking Christian as well. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the battle will be won at that point guard position.
I love it.
Nashom Carter is a closer. He's the type of player that you want to have the ball in his hands in the last quarter.
And he wants it too.
And he proved it last night. He scored 14 points in the fourth quarter, which allowed Christian to pull away from Bishops in a game that, 52-37, but it was closer than the score indicated. But, it was because of his prowess at that position. Now, he's not going up against a slouch. Kimo Ferrari is arguably one of the top 5 on-ball defenders at that position, regardless of class in San Diego. He's feisty. He gets under your skin. He's got quick feet. He does all of those things. He checks all those boxes. But Nashom really just has that intangible will to win. And I think that that's going to be the position where this is broken down. Christian is one of the few teams left that can neutralize Matt Bender on the interior. Like we mentioned, Christian West and Jackson Larson, long athletic bodies who can bother him in the paint. And Christian West has one of the more explosive second jumps. So when it comes down to the boards, defensive and offensive, Christian West is able to bounce off the ground. If he doesn't get it, come back down really quickly, goes back up, gets those boards. And that really does play a difference. I think, too, Christian is very underrated defensively. 37 points to a Bishops team, is no slouch. And, while Parker has been able to do a lot of things offensively, scoring 76 points last night, they gave up 74 to Otay Ranch, an Otay Ranch team that doesn't nearly have the weaponry that this Christian team does. And I think that lack of overall team defense, whereas you have that individual defender in Kimo Ferrari, the other 4 positions on the floor aren't great defensively. Max Gwynn, Matt Bender, Daryl Sledge, and Jacob Jovian are very gifted offensive pieces, but defensively, that lack of a lateral quickness and sometimes it's just a lack of will to, really interest on that end of the floor comes back to bite them. I think Christian wins this, I think by about 5-6 points. Again, a close game throughout, but you have a closer like Nashom Carter, I'm not going to go against him.
Question.
And also, you know, we also need to give credit for the job that Davion Famber has done. I mean, this is a team that was terrible.
We haven't talked about Davion.
We've talked about, you know, him being,
that's what I'm talking about.
him bullying, you know, him gangstering, you know, picks it, you know, from us. We talked about that.
But that's what I'm talking about.
The trajectory of the program.
How both of these programs got to where they
Yeah,
are.
because I mean, Christian last year under Coach Bristol, I mean, they were 21-9 or 10 or something like that, but they didn't play tough schedule. They didn't challenge themselves, and as a result, they were perennially getting knocked out of the playoffs early on. You know, they've come in. Davion Famber has instilled a competitive fire. They've played a tougher schedule. They went out and played Vista really close early on. You know, they played Mater Dei Catholic, Cathedral Catholic early on in the season. And, you know, in the Eastern League, they took one on the chin from Sarah in the first game of the year, and they have not lost since. And you can just tell that they've taken on a different identity under this coaching staff. And kudos to him for getting the most out of his players. He did it at Mission Vista. He's done it here. Got to give him a lot of credit.
And on the flip side, Parker is a team that is almost playing for next year a little bit. They're still building. They're a team that doesn't quite have that potential reach yet. They just haven't hit the ceiling. So both of these are on the up. This is a very positive game for the equity and the parity of basketball in San Diego.
This could very well be the Division I championship game next year.
Absolutely. You'll have to stick around, though, to see what we have to say about the Division I championship. Just want to ask you one last question.
Shoot.
You mentioned both these quality point guards. Are we going to have anybody doing a James Harden level disrespect move?
I don't see anything like that.
You don't see quite that ability out of these point guards?
I mean, they've got the ability, but these are private schools. They don't want to show that disrespect. I mean, you know, Christian's is a religious school. They, you know.
Look, I just had to prove that I'm hip and I know what's going on in the world of sports and reference. Huh? Yeah, okay, look, you're right. Folks, it's been a long season. And we want to hear from you still. We want you guys to let us know how we're going to do on this game. We will be there with highlights, analysis, post-game podcast, interviews. Our Insta story is going to be blowing up.
And you guys know you can @ me all the time. I don't hide from Fade, so come, you know.
At Full-Time Hoops 1, at Mr. CPED. The show is at SD Prep Insider. And Tommy Morris is also out there somewhere.
Real Tommy Morris.
We will see you all as confetti falls and someone's holding up a championship. Saturday? I didn't write down what time it is.
It's
7 p.m.,
Saturday,
8 p.m., 2 p.m.,
Saturday
3 p.m.?
At 5 p.m.
Saturday at 5 at San Marcos. It's gonna be a heck of a day of basketball there. We will see you there, or if you don't see us there, we'll see you on the next podcast, or we'll come down and tweet it. You'll never get away from us. So thank you for watching all season long, and we'll see you in the finals.
Yep.